Alright, welcome back to Game 2. This is going to be the Gold Losers Bracket, StarsKri versus Primorix. StarsKri, our pink Terran. He is playing random. Last time he did get Zerg, now he's going to be Terran. In the top right we have our red Protoss, Primorix, taking game number 1. Game number 1 on Acheron Waste. A bit of a seesaw game, a lot of Colossi. So many Colossi, 2 Robo Colossi, a lot of them going down, but eventually it was just too much for StarsKri to handle. That extra economy was not, he was not able to keep up with that extra economy of the 3 base and eventually 4 base Protoss while not taking any bases of his own. We'll see if Terran seems a bit more suited for him with that aggressive style, that lower base style. And this is apparently, according to him, his best map. It's one of the new maps, Derelict Watcher. I am not personally all that familiar with it. It does look like an interesting map. It has a very easy to hold third, similar to Acheron. So I'm curious as to why he likes this map more so than Acheron. I would have thought something more like Neoplanet would be up his alley. Alright, Scout is going out. Things are nice and standard. The probe will see that he is up against Terran. In game number 1, Primorix started over here with a gateway, found out he was against Zerg, and started to sort of panic wall his way in. This time he has started a wall over here, and realized he's against Terran, so he's building the gateway further away. That is the sad state of Protoss against random. The builds you have to do are just a little bit janky, to be quite honest. Alright, gas going up, and another barracks coming down for StarsKri before gas or anything. That is very interesting. Going to see some early... Oh god, imperative. Get a game gas and you're almost on. I have a 1-1 series. After this, maybe. In one now. Okay, going back to the game. The game isn't all that particularly exciting just yet, as it is the early stages. Going to see a bunker at the top of the ramp. This is a bit strange. He's going for a pretty heavy army and still going for that very defensive bunker. On the other hand, Primorix has not really expanded, and he is going to spend a scan to see whether or not there is an expansion going down. We'll not get any further information than that, though. That may prove to backfire just a bit. Alright, gas is now up for StarsKri. And he did see no expansion with that scan, but the scan was early because now there is that expansion down for Primorix. Primorix with a very standard 1-gate expand against Terran. And this is putting StarsKri in an interesting position. StarsKri has more infrastructure, more army, more units, more production, but he doesn't have a base. So he's going to need to do some damage quick, and he needs to do some damage hard to actually punish this quicker base from Primorix. On the other hand, Primorix does need to actually be aware that this is a 1-base play from StarsKri, not the usual 1-base, or excuse me, the 1-Rax fast expand that so many Terrans are doing now. Some Marines moving out, seeing if they can do any early damage. And another scan, this time in the main, and what will he see? He will see 3 gateways. And he is selecting the robo facility to make sure that is what that is. Alright, so he does know there's a robo on the way, as well as 3 gates total. Might be a little bit suspicious, and he is. He's a little bit afraid. Oh, he doesn't actually realize there is that expansion down there. StarsKri is getting so much misleading information from these scans. The timing is just a little bit off. This is the danger of playing random. Their timings are just not as crisp and clean as they are when you are playing your main race. And being a random player myself, that is something I deal with all the time. And it is very, very difficult to actually overcome. Factory going down, still no expansion though. Ah, there's the expansion, but this is so late compared to the Nexus that is already up and running for Primorix. It has already gotten probes on it, building more. he is just getting so far ahead. 30 probes to 23 SCVs, and that gap is only going to increase. even with mules, StarsKri is way behind in terms of economy. No upgrades on the way either. Does have a fair amount of gas built up. Factory is done. Might see a starport soon. Perhaps going to be going for some sort of drop. Going for a reactor on the factory. Might be giving that over to a starport, or might actually just be going for double widow mines, or perhaps even some hellions. StarsKri with a bit of unconventional play here. Server is out to spot any sort of widow mine shenanigans, but what he really needs to see is that there is no actual expansion for StarsKri. StarsKri is so behind on this expansion. And knowing that will be so important for Primorix. He'll know that he's able to keep the economic advantage, and that he won't really actually have to do much at all except tech up against the impending bio force that all these barracks are going to start cranking out. And there are the bio upgrades, stim and combat shield on the way, double widow mines on the way as well. No starport in sight. I think that's a bit of a mistake. He does need to get some medevacs out with this bio, especially with stim. And my cat is now nosing at my headphones. Please do not do that, Nero. This is not a very good time for that. Thank you. No, Nero, that's still not helping. Okay, now we're good. Alright, double widow mines out. Bunker is being put up at the front. The observer will see this, and we'll see the very late expansion. Primorix is going to love what he sees at this point. Sees just how late this actually is. Not even an orbital yet, so no more mules for our Terran. 50 probes to 25 SCVs. StarsKri so behind on economy. This is what we saw last game as well, where Primorix, he might not have been as cost efficient, might have made a few micro mistakes with those Colossi, but that vastly superior economy allowed him to just power on through anything that StarsKri was able to throw at him. Do you have some widow mines coming out? They will be spotted by that observer. They also will be used to guard this ramp, playing very defensively when he doesn't actually need to. He still does not know about this natural. Does not know about the timing, doesn't know anything about what's actually going to be coming at him. He's playing very defensively, but when you play defensively, you need to play reactively. And to play reactively, you need to know what your opponent has and what they're going to throw at you. In this case, there is no splash damage yet, but that robotics bay is on the way, so Colossi will be coming soon. With those Colossi out comes a world of pain for our Terran StarsKri. StarsKri also with a planetary fortress at the natural. Very interesting decision there. You usually see an orbital just because your army is going to be here defending this area anyway. So you want that orbital, you want those mules, you want that Terran advantage of the scans and the mules. So important for the Terran race. Lots of Marines now coming out, but against Colossi, that will not do well at all. Another base coming down for Primorix. Primorix is just going into macro beast mode. Knows that is what won him the game last time, and will likely win him the game this time. Interesting position for it. It is a bit far away as compared to the much easier to take and much easier to defend third over here. It's on practically its own little island with only one entrance. However, it is a little bit easier to drop, I suppose, and this will allow any sort of drop that's coming in towards the main like that will be spotted and deflected by this base positioning. So an interesting decision. I don't know if it's better or worse, but it is something to take note of. Lots of widow mines out. This is a very well defended position, but defending against what? There's nothing actually attacking for Primorix just yet. The Colossi are out. And does he even know about it? He did scan and will see the natural, but at this point, what does that actually tell him? Not all that much. He doesn't know the timing. He could check the mineral patches, but again, all that really tells him is that, oh man, I am actually behind. Observer now coming in. No missile turrets, no detection, and will not get scanned. As there is no energy for a scan, again, need that orbital command at the natural. This base now up and running, and I'm afraid to look. 71 probes to 32 SCVs. This is just absolutely brutal. Primorix is running away with this game, and StarsKri can really do nothing to stop it. He needs bases. He needs something. He needs to do damage. He needs to attack. He needs to do anything. But he is playing very defensively when he's not being attacked, and just allowing Primorix to build up these bases completely unhindered. Blink almost done now for our Protoss. +2 attack on the way. And more Colossi just being cranked out one after the other after the other. Primorix is almost maxed out at the 15-minute mark on a very scary army. Multiple Colossi, lots of Zealots, and lots of Stalkers with Blink, and my cat is again going after my headphone cord. Please do not do that, Nero. That is so annoying. Lots of mines. I do like the positioning of these mines. This will cover a pretty good spot, pretty much guaranteed kills, but 189 supply to 109 of StarsKri. StarsKri is so far behind, and I don't even think he realizes just how far behind he really is, because he does not know about this base and will not know about this base. He has no map presence, nothing out on the map. And as Terran, you need to be aggressive. You need to be poking and prodding and be out there, have awareness, be able to attack the Protoss in the mid game when they are weakest compared to your strengths, and batter them down until they get to this, before they get to this huge death ball that we are seeing right now. Observer will see those Widow Mines, and they will get a few kills, 1 kill apiece, but that is about it. That last Widow Mine will get not a shot off. So 4 Widow Mines, 3 kills, not really worth it. 75-25 for a Widow Mine will kill a 125 mineral and 50 gas stalker. So in a sense that is somewhat worth it, but this is just going to be a absolute battering ram to the front door. A lot of splash from those Widow Mines. Stalkers do get a little bit ahead of themselves. Oh, the Colossi again need to actually get in on the attacks. The Zealots will buffer some damage, but that huge Bio Ball will actually force this back. What? How is this working? How? What? How? What? How? Alright, well that just happened. That is 6,000 resources lost for our Protoss to 1,250 of our Terran. The Protoss just went in and tried to go for this massive front door bust, but he went up just a bit at a time. The Stalkers blinked ahead and got destroyed before any other supporting units could be in there. The Colossi do go down, and there's not much actually left for the Protoss. But again, look at the income. It's double for Primorix. Primorix killing his own Stalker in his excitement. Alright, there have been some interesting micro decisions in this game by Primorix. Lots of medevacs do remain, but not much in terms of bio, and he can't really replenish that as compared to what Primorix can build. Primorix getting a bit of a bank. He does need to actually start spending that money. Could be warping in a bunch of units right now. Does need to get right on that as soon as possible. +3 attack is now on the way. +1 armor is done. 2-2 is on the way for our Terran. So Terran not that far behind on upgrades. It's all about the engagements now. Primorix needs to actually handle those correctly. Another base going down though, and that is also what he needs to do, is to keep expanding, because eventually this is going to dry up. The main is almost dried up already, and this will not last that much longer. Finally going for another base. StarsKri is going to get a third, but with 37 SCVs compared to 81 probes, he needs to be producing SCVs. And he has not really been able to take advantage of of those mules for Terran, just because, again, that planetary fortress at the natural, which admittedly did help against that attack. Though consider for a moment, if he had mules, he would have much more in terms of production, and would have had more to hold that attack off with. They're now well saturated. +3 attack is on the way. StarsKri very on top of these upgrades, and that is something that Protoss is going to keep up with as well. +3 attack on the way for Protoss as well, however, so they should be about neck and neck. Charge is done for those Zealots, and that is huge against that big bio ball. Tanks now making an appearance. Bit of a cameo. Adds a little bit of splash damage, but again, StarsKri is so passive in this game. He is not... Does he know about that third? Never mind the fourth? No, he still does not know about any of these bases. All he knows about is that there is in fact a natural here, and he's been hit by Colossi. Scouting, definitely something he needs a lot more of, but so many Colossi now. Will he be able to just tear through this Bioforce? with this +3 attack almost done. If he hits it right at that timing, that would be a beautiful, beautiful timing. One Colossi is going to get a little bit ahead of himself, and the Stalkers will blink forward again, but again, the army is coming in a little bit piecemeal. All those Colossi do need to get up, and finally they do get into the battle, and that might be just enough. There is the damage that he needed to do out in the open when all the Protoss units can be firing at once. It is an absolute Terran massacre. 171 supply to 64, and now he'll be able to come in and take out this third base. There's not much at all that StarsKri can do about it. Does have some Widow Mines still at the front. It will be tricky to break, but with that base down, he doesn't even really need to break it, but he's going to try it anyway. The mines will get taken out, and more Colossi on the way. This is just a death march to victory for Primorix. Lots of bio coming in, but it's just not enough. The tanks on the high ground does get a kill or two. Oh, we'll actually get more than a couple shots, but not quite enough to actually make the difference. This bunker up here finally getting some use, but Planetary Fortress does eventually go down. 171 supply to 23. That is all but game. +3 attack about to finish, but 2 Colossi on the way out of time. Primorix playing a beautiful macro game, just building up and constantly going at StarsKri's face, and there is the GG. Primorix has gone 2-0 in the gold bracket.